Congratulations, you've decided to buy a house. Now what? What are the things you need to know when buying a house? Let's find out. Hi, I'm Geoff at RE/MAX Eastern here in picture perfect Peterborough. Congratulations. So you've decided to get yourself into the real estate market. But what are the things you need to know when buying a house? Let's take a look. Number one on the list of what you need to know when buying a house, what type of house do you want? Or what type of house do you need? Let's take a look at the types available. Do you need a bungalow? Is that better for you? Or would you like a two-story? How about a condo? Townhouse, semi-detached? What about the number of bedrooms? Do you need a home office? That's a big deal these days in our pandemic life. Big backyard, lots of room to roam? Or do you want a pool? And what about a garage? Next is a phrase that you have heard, I'm sure, many times over: location, location, location. Big question. Do you want to live in the city, or do you want to be more rural, where you have some more space to spread out? Do you need to be close to transit, or do you need to be able to get to the highway so you can commute easily to work? Speaking of work, do you need to live close to work so you can walk maybe? And what about the kids? Do they need to be close to a specific school? Next on our list of things you need to know when buying a house, when do you start going to look at houses in person? I know you've been looking at them online already, most likely. If you're like me, I'm looking at homes online all the time. You see a house, you know, oh, I want to go see that one. Then you get there and you get kind of excited and you think, oh, I think I want to make an offer on this house. That's when the challenges start. So here's the challenge. You found this house that you want to make an offer on, but you're not pre-approved yet, are you? You've already started looking at houses, but you're not pre-approved. So here's what's going to happen. Sure, you go ahead, you make the offer, but now your finance condition is going to have to be longer than a finance condition when you're pre-approved, and that may kill the deal. Plus, if you're in a seller's market, it's likely that you'll end up in multiple offers. And if you have a condition in your offer, it's very unlikely that your offer is going to win the day. So the best time to start looking at homes is after you're pre-qualified. Next on our list, how much can you afford to pay for a house? This is where you need the services of a mortgage specialist or a mortgage broker. Well, what's the difference, Geoff? Here's the deal. A mortgage specialist works for a bank or a trust company or a credit union, and they can only offer you mortgage products that are put together by that institution. So your choices are limited to what they have to offer. On the other hand, a mortgage broker works with maybe as many as 40 or 50 different lenders, including the big banks. So they can offer you all of those choices, which gives you a lot more flexibility. In the end, you have to decide which is best for you. You may already have a great relationship with a mortgage specialist and you want to keep working with them. But if you're starting from a clean slate, think about mortgage broker. Now, earlier in the video, I mentioned that you don't start looking at homes until you're pre-approved. And there are lots of folks out there who say, well, come on, Geoff, do we really need to be pre-approved? The short answer is yes, and here's why. Pre-approval is the process of sitting down with your mortgage specialist or your mortgage broker and figuring out your total debt service and your gross debt service. Now look, I'm not an expert at mortgage qualifications, so you'll want to talk to them. This is just an overview, okay? But here's the deal. Once they've gone through that process, they know, and they will tell you, how much home you can afford to buy or what you can afford to pay for the house. Once you're at that point and they've done the credit check on you, you're pre-qualified. And that means that that financial institution is willing to underwrite a mortgage for you as long as certain conditions are met. So pre-qualification does a lot of things. One, it makes sure that the institution is ready to work with you. And two, it gives you some peace of mind when it's time to make an offer. Now that you're pre-qualified, does this guarantee that you can buy the house that you fall in love with? Well, not necessarily. Here's how this works. So you find the home, you love it, you make your offer, and you win the day. Your offer is accepted with a condition in it. Excellent. So here's what happens. Now, the offer and the listing and all of that stuff goes to your mortgage specialist or your mortgage broker, and they start to dig in because they have one final, very important step to take care of, and that's the appraisal. Is the house worth, in the financial institution's mind, as much as you're willing to pay for it? This is why they do it, because at the end of the day, if they have to take over the mortgage, in other words, you default, and they have to sell the house, they want to make sure they're going to be able to get their money out. So the appraisal is a very important last step. I know you're saying, hey Geoff, what if we're in multiple offers and we decide not to put a finance condition in? Well, here's the good news. You're pre-approved, so you know the limit to which the bank or the financial institution will support you. So you can't make your offer above that number. If you happen to win the day at that number, the likelihood of the home appraising for the number that you've offered is very good. But of course, you'll talk to your mortgage broker or mortgage specialist before you make the offer, and of course, your realtor will help guide you through this process. This is a big one on our things to know when you're buying a house, and that is, what are the expenses when buying a house? Now, this is such a big list and it needs so much detail. I'm actually going to do a whole video on it that you can see right here next week. But in the meantime, here's the list of things you need to be thinking about. First of all, the down payment. Number 2 on the list, the deposit. Number 3 on the list, the inspections that need to be done or should be done. A home inspection, and if it has a fireplace or a wood stove, you should also do a wet inspection. Appraisal fee. Now, sometimes the bank can do an auto appraisal, bank, I mean financial institution, they can do an auto appraisal and there's no fee. But if they have to actually engage or hire an appraiser, then there's going to be a fee. Mortgage loan insurance. A survey. If not a survey, then title insurance. Legal fees. Land transfer tax. You know the old saying, can't get away from death and taxes, so land transfer tax is absolutely going to be paid. Homeowners insurance. Property tax, can't get away from that one. Moving expenses. Utilities like natural gas, electricity, water, and sewer. And the ongoing maintenance of the home. Next on our list of things you need to know when buying a home, you're going to need an insurance agent or insurance broker. This is the person who helps you to figure out which policy is best to protect you against potential loss with your home. And when I say loss, I mean fire, water damage, unexpected damage from storms, liability insurance in case somebody gets hurt while they're on your property, theft, those types of things. Of course, the insurance agent or broker can walk you through it all, but you're definitely going to want to talk to one of these people as part of your preparation for buying a home. Home inspection. To do or not to do? Okay, not Shakespeare, I get it. But I will say this, the Ontario Real Estate Association highly recommends that a buyer use a home inspector because they believe that it is an important third-party look, an unbiased third-party look at the home that you're buying. That way you get a good sense of what it is you're buying, and you become aware of any little issues that might become big issues, or big issues that you weren't aware of. So a home inspection is something you should consider. Now, if you're looking outside of the city, a rural property or a waterfront property, you'll also want to consider these inspections, a septic inspection, a well inspection to verify that the well can provide enough water for the property. Speaking of water, you'll want to do a water test, and you'll also want to do a wet inspection if there's a wood stove or fireplace. Up next on our list of things you need to know when buying a house, and that is, how are you going to choose the realtor you work with? Now I know, I'm a little biased, I'm a realtor, but I do think realtors are a very important part of the process, and I think you need to give this some thought. Here's why. You're going to go look at all of these homes before you buy one, and you're going to spend a lot of time with this realtor So you're going to want to make sure it's somebody, one, that you can talk with, that you feel comfortable asking questions of, that you feel confident in the experience that they bring to the table. In other words, you feel confident in the answers that they're providing you while you're going through these homes. The next thing you're going to want to consider when hiring your realtor is, do they have the experience to structure the offer and negotiate the offer in your best interests? Now, when I say structure, I'm talking about making sure that you've got the price that you want, the closing date you want, that the inclusions are there, and things that you don't want on the property are excluded. And of course, the conditions, if you're in a position where you can actually put conditions in an offer to negotiate the deal, you want to make sure that your rights are protected. And that's what conditions are there for. So you want to make sure you're comfortable your realtor can do those things for you. In the end, the realtor you choose needs to be somebody that you can get in touch with if you have questions or concerns. Of course, I mentioned earlier, somebody that you feel comfortable working with. And in the end, you really do need to feel that you trust this person, because it's your realtor who's got your back. Well, that's a lot of information to take in. Do you have any questions? If you do, use the comment section below and I'll be sure to get back to you. And in the meantime, if you'd like more information about buying a house, I suggest you watch this video. And if you're thinking about selling a house before you buy your next house, I suggest you watch one of these videos. Remember, I post new videos every week. I'm Geoff, and I'll see you next week right here on Picture Perfect Peterborough.